Now, I don't know if it's just me that thinks this, but the 2025/26 season has actually been cinema. And no, I'm not talking about go down to the local cinema, you know, Odeon cinema with your friends and go get some popcorn, yeah. No, I'm talking about absolute hands over head cinema. Since the start of the season, there have been games that,
and especially the top 4 race. At one point we had Liverpool in first place, and then out of nowhere they just die. Everyone is beating them. We thought them getting a win against Arsenal was going to be like a pivotal point in their season. That's where they're going to kick on and go for that title charge, but then they just died, man. Every single team started beating them. Man United started getting wins against them. Chelsea got a win against them. At the time we thought they were big wins, but then everyone started doing it, and when everyone starts doing it, it becomes normal. It doesn't become a shock anymore. I think Leeds beat them as well, Crystal Palace as well. I mean, it's just been all over the place for the guys. And then you look at second place. Second place at one point was Chelsea. Even Arsenal were there in the beginning while Liverpool were doing their thing. Arsenal go into first, Chelsea go into second, and then Chelsea start falling off again. And then teams like Man City go above us. And then we go to third. I don't know who we have. I think it's Aston Villa now. So Aston Villa being third, and then beneath them it's Crystal Palace. I mean, it's just all over the place. And the thing is, everyone is so close to each other. Just one game week can change so many teams' positions on the log. You just don't know who's going to win. You know, no one has full control over anything. And when you actually watch the games, no one looks decent. No one has control of the games. It's just people freestyling. I mean, even Man City, a team with so many superstars, so many brilliant footballers, they were leading 5-1 against Fulham. Then Fulham makes it 5-4 in an interesting game. That game was one of the best games of the season. And then you look at the Champions League, Barcelona as well. I don't know if they still 18th, but I think they won. Yeah, they won against Frankfurt 2-1, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't watching the game, but yeah, I think they're a little bit higher, but still though, to have Barcelona at 18th place in the Champions League, it's crazy.
people are not even remembering. You know, did you guys remember that PSG played Barcelona in the Champions League group stage table league phase? Yeah, that happened. And it was a brilliant game, but there was a bunch of...
One thing I like about this new format of the Champions League is every single game week we have two brilliant teams facing each other, unlike the old Champions League where it was just a big dog in a small group, you know, a group where the other teams were not expected to beat the big dog, you know. Let's say you're Bayern Munich, they would play CSK, Moscow, all these teams in the group stages, and then by default, they would go into the next round undefeated. Now we have so many good teams playing against each other, and it just makes the game so interesting. It draws you more into the Champions League ties, you know. Every time when it's the Champions League, you're just guaranteed a big clash.
Stuff that has happened so far this season, and we gotta just talk about some of it. We've seen the likes of Arsenal dominate Bayern Munich, Chelsea dominate Barcelona, scorelines in all competitions that just made no sense. You know, who thought a game between PSG and Spurs would end 5-3? We've also got the likes of Mbappe, Haaland and Kane going at each other like this is Neymar, Messi and Ronaldo, all fighting for the chance to get their hands on the Ballon d'Or, but these times there it's gonna probably be like Vitinha if he wins the Champions League with PSG. We've also now seen the return of Pogba, and I know it was for like 5 minutes, but still, Paul Pogba is back. We've also got breakout stars in the Serie A.
Paul Pogba is back. I haven't watched any Monaco games, but I'm sure he's killing it in Monaco.
Nico Paz and a 39-year-old Jamie Vardy scoring goals for Cremonense.
Vardy's still playing.
Now, football throughout the years has had patches, but I'm not someone to talk about football and just bring negativity. I like to just talk about the positive moments in football that I just like to see. And so far this season, the script has been unpredictable, and especially for Premier League fans, because going into this season, we all thought, you thought, your sister thought, everyone thought that Liverpool were just going to dominate. Signing the likes of Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, we were saying...
I mean, look at this team. Look at this team. It just doesn't make sense for them to be suffering this much. So much potential on the field. You had two of the top 3 goal scorers of last season in Isak and Mo Salah in the same team. Ekitike with his brilliant technical ability. Wirtz, I don't know what's going on with Wirtz, honestly. He's actually been a big disappointment. The fact that he hasn't got any GA in about, 14 games or something like that is crazy to me. McAllister, okay, to be honest, McAllister is McAllister, it's nothing really special there, but he's a decent footballer, one thing about him, and sometimes he would get you an odd long range goal or something spectacular, but it's not all that. But I don't know, man, I just don't know what's the issue. Why is it not clicking for these guys? Or is it Ancelotti maybe he's asking them to do too much? Maybe he's changed the tactics so much so that it's confusing the players who were there for a long time, people like Mo Salah. Maybe that's why he's having beef with Mo Salah in the first place.
All off the league. They already brought in Ekitike. They don't need this many players. But it's nearly the new year and Liverpool are nowhere to be seen at the top of the table. And Chelsea have crept their way up into a title race themselves. They are so back and we are so back as football fans, because who saw this coming? Who really saw this bald head instead of this?
I've been on a Chelsea detox for so long now. Like, I'm tired of this team, bro. I am so tired of this team. From Leeds to Bournemouth to Atlanta. Like, I just don't know, man. Even making videos, man, it's so draining. Like, what more do I have to say about this team? Because when I sit there and actually watch the games, they are boring, man. Nothing is happening, to a point where I don't have anything to say, man. It's just the same old every week. And Maresca, I don't know why you keep sabotaging this team by playing Chalobah and Tosin and all of these guys. Sometimes you put Chalobah in the wing back positions, which I don't get. Or maybe sometimes you don't play Dos Santos in midfield. You put Gusto in there while Chalobah is in right back. Like, it's all over the place. I just don't know. I'm tired of this. João Pedro not shooting. Delap just isolated in the front, doing nothing. We have no control in midfield, having people like Enzo constantly lose the ball every 5 minutes, but no one says anything. It's just so tiring.
Going this high up in the table this early on. I don't know. Of course, Arsenal are behaving like an absolute problem, and it's clear to see that. I made an entire video just about Arsenal's season so far, and even though they're top of the Premier League and top of the Champions League phase, Chelsea and Maresca's bald head went to Arsenal and got a draw. A draw that honestly felt like a win for a lot of Chelsea fans. Because for the majority of this game, they were down to 10 men, but held their own against an Arsenal side that have been applauded as the best team in football right now. Yet Chelsea just turned up and dominated, with the likes of Reece James transforming into something that we have never seen. This guy moving like a box-to-box midfielder. S tier. And of course, yes, I know, Reece James played for midfield at Wigan and he won the player of the season, blah blah blah, we all know. But this was not seen in the prophecy. This was not written that Reece James was going to be dominating midfields against Arsenal in the Premier League. Bro, sit down. But enough about Arsenal. Let's continue to get on to these Liverpool fans, because at the start of the season, we fought it. Everyone thought that they were going for it all.
And you know what's the funny part? When you actually watched their games in the beginning of the season, the signs were there. None of this is a surprise, because they were winning games, sure, but like, they were scrubbing it. Mo Salah getting the late goals, them constantly conceding first and then catching up to the other team and winning the game eventually. It was just, the signs were there. It was chaotic. But now, for them to constantly lose games and drop points consistently, it's just a shock to me.
After a run of 9 losses in 12 games in all competitions, they are looking lost.
9 losses
a 4-1
in 12
defeat
games.
At the hands of PSV.
PSV,
bro. This is not PSG.
Come on.
PSV. They got used and dashed out the window. Arne Slot didn't know what was coming for him. But still, there is hope, because Alexander Isak just scored his first goal in Liverpool colours. He scored a goal against West Ham recently. West Ham. He didn't really play that good throughout the game. He missed multiple opportunities, but eventually he got his goal. And I think this is what we need to see from Liverpool. Because of course we can slander Isak, we can slander Wirtz, but when Isak and Wirtz played together against West Ham and the likes of Mohamed Salah was dropped, we saw Liverpool actually embrace this new system that Arne Slot is trying to implement. So maybe the system isn't the problem. Maybe it's the individuals that Arne Slot is utilizing in the system. So maybe you have to take out Salah to get the best out of your side. There's big decisions that have to go in to this guy's round head.
But one thing you have to respect is him having the confidence to drop someone like Mo Salah. This is a person who's spearheaded Liverpool's success over the years, you know, for you to actually drop him and have no regrets about it. It shows you're willing to die on your sword as a coach, you know, which is a good thing. Sometimes you have to make the big decisions. At the time, a lot of people might not agree with you, but then if it works, it works, and you look like a genius, you know. So shout out for actually trying to come up with solutions to deal with this current form of Liverpool.
Gotta make them fast, because we're going into 2026 now, and this is serious mode. This is where things start to pick up and clubs start to get points. There's a running of games for Liverpool that seem like they can take advantage of, and they do need to take advantage of it by getting win after win after win. We've also seen the likes of Manchester City's frailties and also brilliance this season so
What a
far.
game this
With
was.
Haaland honestly coming back on this sort of villain arc. You know, this guy was cosplaying as the Joker in Halloween times, and now he's actually is the Joker, bagging in goals week in and week out. Already hitting double figures in the league and putting himself up there as one of the top performers in football right now.